behalf of the Cardinal first. And a quick strike, says Chris Guccione, our home plate umpire, and we are underway. Boy, Tony La Russa and Bobby Cox. We mentioned it last night. Can't think of two more brilliant major league managers who approach their job in such different ways. Braves go pretty much with a set lineup day after day, and you mentioned Tony La Russa likes to tinker with his starting eight. He's got Barden leading off after Barden didn't start last night. Rasmus hitting second, didn't play last night. Then Pujols, Ludwig, Molina, Duncan, on and on you go.
It's kind of funny though. One of the guys he put in the lineup tonight is Rasmus on deck. He's a left-handed hitter. So
and
he really wasn't really going with the percentages of trying to load up the lineup with right-handed hitters. He plugged in Rasmus.
So we'll see how it all works out tonight in game 2 of the set. And there's a good start for JoJo Reyes. That was an excellent changeup.
After some good fastballs to get ahead in the count. Here's the defense behind JoJo tonight, and there is a change or two. Beginning in left field, Matt Diaz will play left field instead of Brandon Jones. Schaefer and Francoeur in center and right. A new second baseman tonight. Omar Infante gets the start. Everybody else remains the same from last night.
And here is Colby Rasmus, the #1 rated Cardinals prospect, as Joe mentioned, out of Phoenix City, Alabama. The Rasmus family very well represented in baseball, professionally speaking. Colby's brother Corey is in the Braves farm system. Russell County, Alabama High School.
Their dad's the coach there,
right.
High school baseball coach.
Corey's a pitcher. Colby is supposed to be a very good hitter. And did that hit him? Apparently so, on the elbow. You could hear Guccione questioning Tony Randazzo at third. Did he swing? The third base umpire said no, he didn't. And Rasmus aboard on a hit batsman.
He didn't react like a guy who got hit by a pitch. Definitely hit him on the forearm. That was clear. Maybe it stunned him a little bit because he didn't go to first base right away.
Either that or he just wanted to swing the bat, which most good hitters will tell you they'd rather do.
Well, if the ball's rolling out there in fair territory, make sure they know that it's hit you.
There's Pujols. Albert Pujols went 1 for 5 last night. Our great stat man Hal Galima pointed out. First time in 45 games that Pujols struck out twice in one game.
And Albert doesn't miss anything. He wouldn't get in the box. He was reminding Rasmus that he still had a shin guard on down there to take it off before he starts running the bases.
My guess is that Mr. Rasmus will be making a contribution to the team's kangaroo court for that move. You don't want to interrupt Albert Pujols when he gets in the box.
Yes. Albert Pujols does not hit the ball much to right field. He's got 23 hits so far this year, 15 to left, 5 to center, just 3 hits to right field. And as we talked last night, Chip, it's not because he doesn't have good plate coverage out there. It's just that he covers it and pulls it.
And the Braves on the infield do play him to pull. Reyes goes inside and high for ball 2.
One of the things that helped JoJo in spring training and the difference in the way he pitched compared to the end of last season was his aggressiveness with his fastball pitching inside.
Inside again, but low this time with a slider. 3-1 your count.
JoJo sometimes gets off to a bit of a slow start. First and second innings can be a problem. He's 33 big league starts. He's given up 13 home runs in the first 2 innings.
And now, you know, Pujols, if he finds a pitch to his liking, he's going to try to hit it to the drum in left center. Ball 4, 2 on, 1 out. Albert Pujols walks for the 17th time this year. And for a man that likes to swing at the ball off the plate, that one unhittable.
No, he couldn't reach that one, and quite frankly, I'm surprised that's all he's walked.
So David Ross out now with the defensive signals behind the plate, and Brave killer Ryan Ludwig is the batter. He hit .370 against Braves pitching last year. Last night went 1 for 4, and he's got a chance to put the Cardinals in front again in the game's first inning. That was the story last night. They led 1-0 after 1, 2-0 after 2.
Good comeback there by JoJo to get ahead in the count, though, after the walk. Just a tremendous year last year for Ludwig, who was finally healthy for a change. 37 homers, 113 RBIs.
And he's not healthy right now. Look at him hop around as that ball bounced off his left shin. That feels good as a hitter, doesn't it?
Just wonderful, especially to start your night that way. Ooh, that got him on the shin. And that'll turn that section of your shin into just hamburger. That'll help.
Yeah, the old pat on the back from the trainer. Boy, that looked like it hurt.
Yeah.
Am I right, Ryan?
This will catch him right on the shin bone, right there.
The only thing I could imagine that would be worse than the trainer coming out and patting you on the back was when they had that ethyl chloride spray. They try to freeze that sore spot.
He could have hot-footed it down to first base, where Dave McKay is coaching, and borrowed Colby Rasmus's shin guard.
That's a good, that's a good idea.
Already on the field.
Do they even use ethyl chloride anymore? Have you seen?
I haven't seen that lately. No.
Maybe Jim Lovell can give us an update on that. Did he go? Apparently not. No. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
One winter I was playing in Mexico, and our pitcher, a native Mexican pitcher, got hit right in the forehead with a line drive right back at him, and our trainer, who was, I don't think, a real medical trainer type, came running out and was spraying his forehead with ethyl chloride. And a big old ice spot right on his forehead. Of course, the guy was knocked out. He didn't know what was going on.
Didn't matter.
I just thought, I think we need to do something more than this.
Good pitch, down and away. Ludwig missed it. 2 out.
Change up. But to me, this whole at bat was set up by strike one, Chip. When JoJo gets ahead in the count, his changeup's that much more effective. He can pitch inside effectively instead of having to, when he gets behind the count, make a good pitch, because his fastball doesn't move enough to get the hitters off of it.
Catcher Yadier Molina bats for the first time tonight. So many times we've heard the term trust your stuff, whether it's an offensive player swinging the bat, trust your ability. Does JoJo at this stage in his career trust his stuff enough in your estimation?
I think so this year, more so than last. Last year it was just an ongoing battle to try to do something to get through and get a win that never came.
Deep short, Chipper knocks it down. Tough break. It's off his glove and into left field. Rasmus comes around to score, and Molina plays Pepper with Chipper Jones. An RBI single with 2 outs, and the Cardinals jump in front.
That was a real shame, and all 3 runs last night by the Cardinals were on 2-out singles. Not a whole lot unlike this. Looked like Escobar might have been able to get to that ball until Chipper deflected it away from him. Maybe not. It was going to be close. Escobar might have been able to dive and knock it down too to keep the runner from scoring, but a tough break for Reyes.
So a 12-game hit streak for Molina. Rasmus scores the first run of the night. And here is Chris Duncan, one of 2 left-handed bats in the Cardinals lineup for game 2. Now we'll see what JoJo's made of. Can he rally and get a tough hitter with the Cardinals in front?
You mentioned last night some of the difficulties Chris Duncan had last year for St. Louis. Hurt, had surgery for an athletic hernia, then he had neck surgery with the titanium disc replacement. Kind of a lost year for him.
Well, he's got prodigious power. He can hit it a mile.
Well, and they need him in the lineup. They need Ankiel in the lineup because they are pretty much right-handed dominated with Molina, Pujols and Ludwig in the middle of their order.
And they're without Troy Glaus, who's out with a subscapularis muscle problem in his right shoulder. Don't know when he's going to come back. He's not even with the team. He's back in Arizona rehabbing from that. As Duncan launches it out of play, foul. As we saw last night, they can stack their lineup lefty-righty all the way through, which makes it tough on your bullpen. And they've got 4 or 5 guys who can play the outfield as starters, but only 3 spots. So that is a challenge for Tony to mix and match, make everybody happy and productive in that Cardinal pasture.
Yeah, Schumacher not starting that because he's a left-handed hitter. A little mix and match.
Did he go? Oh. No, he didn't go. Tony Randazzo with the call. Might want to take another look at this.
Yes, he did. Chris Duncan might tell you that too. Got away with one.
Two and two. And now 3-2. The runners will go. Pujols at second, Molina at first, Khalil Green on deck.
Chris Guccione, the home plate umpire, made his major league debut at Turner Field back in 2000. Umpiring at third base in a game Tom Glavine beat the Dodgers 1-0.
Runners go. Duncan swings through it. JoJo Reyes strikes out the side in the first inning. His changeup very, very effective in a 27-pitch opening frame.
JoJo Reyes, a good hitting pitcher, bats ninth. They'll go against Kyle Loesch, 30 years old, 6'2", 210 out of Hamilton City, California. He's 3-0. This guy couldn't find a job last spring. He signed with the Cardinals on March 14th of 2008. Went on to win 15 games for them. Got a 4-year contract extension at the end of last season.
They find them, they fix them, and they reward them in St. Louis. And Loesch, a former Cub farmhand whom they traded to the Twins for Rick Aguilera way back when. Coming off a 14-6 season. Starts out a strike to Omar Infante.
4-pitch guy, and he'll throw a cutter. Curve, slider, change. Two years ago, the Phillies picked him up at the trading deadline, and down the stretch for Philadelphia, they plugged him into the rotation. He went 3-0 and pitched in the playoffs for them, and then became a free agent and could not find a job.
Boy, the Cardinals happy to have him. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Crazy thing was that March 14th, that's 2 weeks left in spring training, roughly last year. Carpenter was hurt. He wound up being their opening day pitcher.
Those two guys don't miss on many. Tapped up the middle. Khalil Green can't get it. And a leadoff single for Omar Infante. This is a good start for Atlanta.
With the Braves' offensive struggles, Chip, I just can't believe Omar's not going to get a few more at-bats in the near future, whether they be at second base, whether they're in the outfield. He's been too consistent not to have him in there.
Yeah, it's not just Kelly, but he's taking the place of Kelly tonight.
Yeah.
4 for 34 at second base and in the leadoff spot for Atlanta.
He can play left, he can play center.
And he's 2 for 2 in the series after coming off the bench last night. Here's Yunel Escobar. He's at 292 with a couple of homers.
Step out.
And here Bobby saying step out as Escobar called time. And Loesch took too long. We'll keep an eye on Loesch tonight too. He jammed his knee in his last start against the Cubs. They gave him a precautionary MRI. Everything was clear. There was some fluid in the back of the knee, they said, but Loesch pronounced himself fit to go and doesn't appear to be having any discomfort tonight.
This is pitching coach Dave Duncan going through his library of information, making notes.
No balls, 2 strikes.
And now wearing a shin guard on his left shin. I think that got the right foot. Yep, right toe. Oh, was really biting down and in on him.
Oh, yeah.
Do they say owl in Spanish?
Yes.
Why?
Caramba.
Oh, caramba?
Uh-huh.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Little tapper slowly hit. Green has to charge. Gloves, grabs, flips to first. 1 out.
You saw Khalil Green make that play. Here's the rest of the defense for the Cardinals tonight. Behind Kyle Loesch, their outfield tonight, Duncan, Rasmus, and Ludwig. Left side is different tonight with Barton at third base, Green at short. Brendan Ryan moves over to play second. Pujols and Molina remain at first and behind the plate.
Here's Chipper. He's 5 for 9 with a home run against Loesch in his head-to-head matchups. And Chipper 1 for 3 to start this series.
Chipper had a comment today, he's quoted in the paper anyway, saying that with respect to the Braves offense or lack of it, he said we got to get some help at the top, meaning the top of the order.
With that in mind, the Braves in their first 19 games have scored 3 runs or less 9 times. They've scored 10 runs 3 times. If you take away those 3 games, Braves are averaging less than 3 runs a game offensively. That's just not good enough to win at the major league level.
It's not, and those big outings kind of skew all the numbers across the board. They got off to such a great start, 5-1. Could easily have been 6-0 were it not for that 1 loss in Philadelphia. So I think there was a sense that, you know what, this offense is better than anybody thought it would be, especially with the number of home runs that were hit in those first 6 games.
Two balls and a strike. Which got a 1-2. Phillies pitching staff was one they saw in the opening weekend of the season. The Phillies pitching staff has been awful. They faced the Nationals a lot.
Those starters for Philadelphia have given up an unbelievable number of homers. I think in the 30s.
I think a home run every game but 1. And that was Jamie Moyer that turned that trick. And Chipper walks, 2 on, 1 out. Kochman's up. But the big story is the Marlins right now. They've lost 7 in a row, and they're without Hanley Ramirez tonight. He got hit in the hand last night.
Yeah, that's just what Freddie Gonzalez and his team needed, was to lose their shortstop the way they're going. Philadelphia's taken advantage of some poor play, not only by Florida, by sweeping them down in Florida, but last night coming back to beat the Nationals.
And the Marlins are losing again tonight in the first inning. That's Ricky Nolasco and Livan Hernandez, I believe, going for New York. Jerry Manuel said, if your name is not Johan Santana, you've got one more time through the rotation to figure things out and show us improvement. Otherwise, we may see some changes in that New York starting staff. Well, last night they won. They're winning tonight. Maybe the message has been heeded to this point.
Yeah, they had that kid hit a grand slam last night for the Mets.
Omir Santos.
Yeah. Kind of helped the cause.
2 balls and a strike. Loesch can't get the ball in the zone to the lefties right now.
Yeah, and he's not a guy that walks people, so he's around the plate, but he can't get ahead in the count. He only had issued 4 walks in 26 innings before chippers.
Casey had a good night last night. And strokes one to Pujols. Second one. Quick turn to first and handled by Pujols. A 3-6-3 double play retires the side in the first inning. Albert Pujols, with those soft hands and an accurate arm, feeds Khalil Green, and Casey Kotchman cannot.
And now it's time to take a look at the Piedmont Hospital injury report. Brian McCann, as Chip told you, down at Myrtle Beach. He's going to have a couple of days to try those new contacts out. Garrett Anderson still working to get his left quad back in shape. Get the perfect balance of health and care at Piedmont Hospital. Healthcare provider of the Atlanta Braves. Visit PiedmontHospital.org.
Ball 1 to Khalil Green, the former San Diego Padres standout shortstop in his first season in St. Louis. And he takes a big hack and comes up empty. Green out of Key West, Florida, we mentioned last night. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I thought a change of scenery would do a lot of good for Khalil Green. Yet he's already made 5 errors.
And he's down easily. 4 strikeouts already for JoJo tonight.
Ball players sometimes use the term of guys needing a sense of urgency, whether it's getting back on track with a slump, or if they're hurt, trying to get back in the lineup. And I think there's a sense of urgency here for JoJo Reyes.
Well, I think your point you made in our open is worth repeating. Look, there are footsteps here. At this level, no matter how much promise you have, no matter how much talent you're purported to have, this is a results-oriented place. And when you go 0-8 in your last 13 starts, sooner or later, somebody else is going to get a shot, right?
Yeah, they are. And there's some guys that are fully capable. James Parr is already here. Charlie Morton we saw a little bit of last year. And of course Tommy Hanson, but there's others too. Chris Medlin, terrific arm at Gwinnett. So those numbers don't lie.
And again, in fairness to Reyes, some of that last year, the Braves averaged 1.6 runs a game for him. That's very tough to overcome. However, there are also some of those games where he gave up 6 or 7 runs.
Okay, I'll say by comparison, the Braves have scored like 2 runs in the last 3 starts for Jair Jurgens, but his ERA is 1 point something.
No question about it. That's why I say it's easy to point at 1 or 2 things if you look at the big picture. At the end of the day, it's still 0-8. He's dealing tonight. He struck out 5 Cardinals to start this game.
Strike them all out, JoJo. He's a very likable guy. You pull for him, and it was painful last year at times to see him struggle like he did, and that's why I was happy to hear that he had such a great spring and how impressed Frank Wren and Bobby Cox were with him.
His career high in strikeouts is 9. He's already over halfway there tonight. It's only the 2nd inning. Broken bat by Loesch, and that's foul to even the count.
The game at Pittsburgh for JoJo, he got 3 up and 3 down in the first, gave up a double to Domet leading off the second. He eventually scored with a 2-out hit by Andy LaRoche, a little broken bat flare to center. 3 up and 3 down in the third, got a double play after a double in the fourth, 3 up and 3 down in the fifth, and then ran into trouble in the sixth. Wound up giving up a 3-run homer to Monroe, but had pitched really well for 5 innings.
1-1 pitch. Loesch, base hit to left. He's 3 for 10 this year, by the way. And that's the 2nd Cardinal hit. So it seems to me like at times for JoJo, it's not the first time through the order, but maybe the 2nd time through the order that gives him trouble. And so as a hitter, which is what you were in the big leagues, as a pitcher for JoJo Reyes, what does he have to do differently to change that luck in the middle innings for himself?
Just change his pattern a little bit. He's got a veteran catcher back there, and David Ross. That can be a big help to him tonight. Remember how they're pitching guys, how they struck him out the first time through. I thought last year he got away from his changeup that you just saw. There's another swing and a miss on it. I thought he got away from it too much because he wasn't throwing it where hitters would swing at it. It was too far off the plate. He didn't trust the fact that he had a good arm action on it.
He throws him back to back there, but misses with the second. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So all of a sudden it's ball 1. Misses with a fastball. It's ball 2. You might have to throw a fastball because you can't throw your changeup or breaking stuff for strikes.
Oh! Good live fastball. 1-2 to Barton now. Well, you'd have to think that having Tom Glavine in the locker room in Orlando for a month would have had a big effect on a guy like JoJo Reyes, especially if he's trying to work in that changeup.
Especially. And I know Tommy last year was in the bullpen with him working on some deliveries and some release points.
Well, we've seen in this game it's been a huge weapon already for him.
That and pitching inside, keeping the right-handed hitters off the changeup by firing fastballs in on their hands.
Kochman plays behind Loesch at first, and the 2-2 is chopped to short. Escobar will go the short route, and JoJo Reyes is out of the 2nd inning with 5 strikeouts and just 2 hits allowed, but trails by a skinny run. Beautiful night to watch the Braves from the Chop House here at Turner Field. T-bone or ribeye tonight?
Having a nice cold Budweiser. Hope you are too. T-bone.
The order has been placed. We'll see how quickly they can rush that up here for you. Here in game 2. I'll go with the first part of the order. Yeah. Make it 2 of those. As Jeff falls behind 0-2. Got to cool off with a tall, cool, frosty Budweiser. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That was one of my grandfather's greatest lines ever. A unbearably hot day in St. Louis. And contrary to popular belief, he did not drink beer during the game. But one day it was just so brutally hot. As Jeff grounds to short, he's retired for the first out. It's 8,000 degrees in those old booths at Busch Stadium, which we remember so well. You hear the sound of a pop top. How do they make them so cheap but taste so good? 1 away in the second inning. Here's Matty Diaz. Matty 0 for 3 against Loesch. 227 for the year. Loesch working quickly. Molina wanted him to slow it down a little bit.
So did Matt Diaz, who had to ask for time.
Tell you what, Chris Guccione has certainly taken over this game behind the plate, hasn't he? He's been very vocal.
Yeah, I like it. Matt was unhappy with himself in Cincinnati because he was having some at-bats where he was lunging, and when he would get too far toward the pitcher, moving too far toward the pitcher, he was taking his hands with him, and he didn't have anything left on his swing. It felt like the best at-bats he had were the ones where he was waiting and letting his hands, trusting his hands to do the work.
That's over the inside corner, and Loesch crossed him up for his first strikeout. 2 up, 2 down.
Fans, it's time for the know-how question of the game, built by the Home Depot. If you have a question, send us an email, and if chosen, we'll answer it later in the game. Send your email to braves@peachtreetv.com. Please include your name and where you're from. More saving, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot. Where's my apron?
Do we have time? There are 2 outs. We're going to violate the Vin Scully rule if we get into it. But I'll give it a shot.
Just quickly.
Went to my local Home Depot. Asked them if I could get an apron. And they were very nice. But they said, we can't give aprons to non-Home Depot associates. I said, but you sponsor our broadcast, and my partner will be heartbroken. So that got no sympathy. So I enlisted the help of our own Beth Marshall. She is calling Mr. Home Depot as we speak, I am sure, and she is working on getting you your very own Home Depot apron.
I'm so excited.
We settle on the size, right? Extra medium?
Extra medium, yes.
I mean, they've got everything in the world at Home Depot. You'd think that they would be selling those aprons so that do-it-yourselfers like you and I could just feel like, what's the guy's name? Homer? Is that the guy's name? The Home Depot guy? Homer Fix It?
The guy with the hat?
Yeah,
so
I think that's who it is. Right?
I never knew that he had a name, honestly.
Oh.
But I know who you're talking about.
I looked for the hat and the goggles, too. I didn't see those either. You might have to be an associate to have those. So you might be on your own with that, pal, as Schaefer draws.
Sounds like it.
2 out 1.
You got some speed at first. Ross up there with 2 out, but Braves only have 3 stolen bases. And if it stays that way, it would be the fewest stolen bases in April in franchise history with a minimum of 15 games.
Lined over short. Ross continues his good work. And now JoJo Reyes hits with 2 on but 2 out.
Talked about David Ross in our opening comments about being strong. Watch this swing. Short stride. And watch him just drop the bat down. Boy, his head didn't move at all. Head stayed still. Just drilled that past Khalil Green. Watch this swing again. And watch how little his head moves on this swing. When your head's not moving, your eyes aren't moving, you get a good look at the pitch. That was pretty.
Chance for JoJo Reyes to help himself in this second inning. He's behind 0-2.
Well, the Cardinals have been wearing the Braves out with 2 out hits. Maybe the pitcher can help himself here with a 2 out knock.
2 career RBIs. 0 for 1 at the plate this year. Tony La Russa pacing as he always does in the visitors' dugout. And Reyes has to move his feet. 1-2 now.
Almost got him.
Inning over. Second strikeout for Loesch. Braves strand a pair in the second.
Remember the recipients of the upgrade on the tickets. There they are. The recipients of the Big Smile seat upgrade, sponsored by Dr. Deborah Gratt-King and the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry. The place in Atlanta to get a beautiful smile in the terrace level. Good seats. Second row right there in the terrace level. Outstanding.
And dentists love to see kids eating Cracker Jacks.
Oh, don't they? And bring on the cotton candy.
Yeah, that's next. Third inning already. It's 1-0. Cardinals leading at beautiful Turner Field in Atlanta. A lot of Cardinal fans here. I think outnumbered the Braves fans so far in this series.
Yeah, a lot of red shirts.
Yeah. And they're off to a flying start. They're 14-6. Are the St. Louis Cardinals. And Colby Erasmus digs in. And an in-between hop handled by Casey Kochman for the first out.
Colby Rasmus was back-to-back winner, a back-to-back winner of the minor league player of the year for the Cardinals. But last year had some injury problems at AAA and didn't have a full season under his belt. Now it's time to take a look at the SunTrust Solid Performers, brought to you by SunTrust. Live solid, bank solid. Chipper Jones and Albert Pujols. Between 2006 and 2009, best batting average, those guys are 1-2.
It's a real treat.
Leagues. Yep.
Pardon. I asked Tony La Russa before the game tonight about that pickoff play that Pujols and Yadier Molina engineered in last night's ball game, because you mentioned watching the way that Molina moved, you wondered if it was a set play that the Cardinals put on from the dugout. And here it is. First, Escobar had a long way to go to avoid the tag. He said that was not a set play for the dugout, but as that one lasered to center to Jordan Schaefer, that was a play that Pujols and Molina figured out on their own. When they sense it, they go for it. Molina has picked off 27 men, Tony said, on plays like that in his young Cardinal career.
Well, we got two catchers that can throw out base runners playing against one another tonight, too.
And that's the other thing with regard to Ross. Many times around baseball, a backup catcher can do one thing. David's not a one-dimensional second-string catcher. A lot of teams, he'd be a starter.
Well, the string of backup catchers, I would say, going back to Eddie Perez, since Eddie Perez, there haven't been that many offensive threats for the Braves backup guys. And I'm thinking, with all due respect to Todd Pratt and Corky Miller, who could catch
and could throw,
but their offensive skills had diminished greatly at the end of their career. That is not the case with David Ross.
Nor is it the case with that man, Yadier Molina, who waits on deck, a Gold Glove winner last year. And Ludwig chops one to third. Jojo Reyes looking awfully crisp tonight. He's through 3 innings, allowing just 1 Cardinal run, and the Braves bats will try to go to work in the home half. Go! There's nothing stopping you. I I'd say some of these guys are due to do some launching, huh? Let's go. Here's Omar Infante to start.
Lift and separate.
Infante's home run, July 31st of last year against the Cardinals, Joel Pinheiro. But that's Kyle Loesch. Uh-oh, Phillies are up 5-0. Wonder if anybody hit a grand slam.
Let's see there. That's Cole Hamels pitching tonight, too.
John Lannon for the Nats.
The thing about these Cardinals starters, opposite of the Philadelphia Phillies, they don't give up many homers, just 3 in 119 plus innings, versus their bullpen that's been a bunch.
Pedro Feliz and Chase Utley have hit homers for Philadelphia tonight.
They're beginning to come around.
Yep.
And they're scoring a lot of runs. Just their pitching.
We know they score late. If they start scoring early and in the middle of the games. Wow. Two balls, 2 strikes. Astros lead the Reds in the bottom of the 3rd inning. That's Wandy Rodriguez and Aaron Harang in Cincinnati tonight. Pudge Rodriguez has hit his 3rd homer for Houston tonight. And that's through the eye of the needle over the outside corner. Omar Infante called out on strikes, 1 away.
Must have had a little backup action on it. Let's see. Well, that was mighty good. Watch the glove. Watch the glove. Right there. Good pitch. Just a perfect pitch. Not a whole lot Omar could do about that.
Yunel Escobar homered against Bronson Arroyo of the Reds on the 25th. He rolled out to short, his only time up so far tonight. That one up the middle. His first base hit. He's aboard in front of Chipper. Same story for the Braves' 3rd baseman. He went deep in Cincinnati against Arroyo as well.
Yeah, that one really jumped off his bat. 6 for his last 11.
One ball, no strikes.
Chipper's closing in on Eddie Matthews' all-time RBIs. Henry Aaron, of course, tops with 2,202. Matthews just 6 ahead of Chipper at 1,388.
Chipper also closing in on the 2,300 hit mark. Needs 5 of those to get to that nice round number. Ball 3 high, 3 balls, no strikes.
Green light.
I'd give it to him.
You bet. Another good pitch by Loesch, though. Fastball running away from him. Smart of Chipper not to go after it. It was not a good 3-0 pitch to hack at.
Cardinal outfield almost playing in Doraville. Look how deep they are.
Yeah, they are. That's where they've been with 2 outs. Now they're there with 1 out with Chipper up there.
Escobar runs. Pitch a ball. 2 are on with 1 out. Third walk for Loesch. Again, he'd walk 4 coming into play tonight. You have to wonder if that knee is truly as close to 100% as he would like it to be.
Well, this wasn't exactly a real threatening situation here, but let's go back to last night when, with runners at first and second, they definitely pitched around Chipper, walked him to load the bases to pitch to Kochman. It's pretty apparent they're just not going to give him much to hit. They figure of all the guys in the lineup, the most dangerous is Chipper Jones. Let's see if there's anybody else who can do some damage.
And Kochman doesn't have a home run this year. Kochman, for all of the good things he does, doesn't run particularly well, and Loesch gets a lot of ground ball outs. So,
well, as was demonstrated on that last double play he hit into, right play by Albert Pujols. 3-6-3 double play.
Ground ball right side. Pujols backhand flip, and Escobar way around third. Molina throws him out.
Third base running mistake by Yunel Escobar in 3 days.
And Bobby Cox, all he can do is turn and wonder what could have been. You cannot execute that way if you want to beat the St. Louis Cardinals. This has been the Airtran Airways Homer inning of the game. Make sure you register at PeachTreeTV.com/Braves for official rules. And Yadier Molina scorches one to right. One pitch and one man out.
Escobar got picked off first last night with Chipper at the plate. A couple of days ago, Braves were down by a bunch. 8-1 at the time, but with 2 out, he tried to stretch a single into a double and was thrown out by Jay Bruce at second base to end an inning.
Chris Duncan rolls to second. 3 pitches, 2 outs. For JoJo Reyes again, not getting any offensive support, but giving the Cardinals very little tonight.
Pitching terrific. Here's tonight's Toyota Tacoma trivia question. Where did Ernie Johnson make his major league debut 59 years ago today? Big Iron. 59 years ago today. That's awesome.
It wasn't Crabapple.
No, it was not Crabapple.
Wasn't Brattleboro, Vermont.
Nope. Hope Ernie and Lois are watching tonight.
Khalil Green struck out his first time.
Could, with the Cardinals in town, could it have been in Sportsman's Park in St. Louis?
Could have been. Could have been in Milwaukee.
Oh!
1950. Would have been 59 years ago. They were still in Boston.
Could he have been in the minor leagues, though?
No, I would say got a major league debut here. Braves Field, is that what it's called in Boston?
Yeah. 3-2 count to Khalil Green. Liner, diving play, knocked down Infante, 360, and got him! What a play!
Woo-wee. Great recovery.
He kept the ball in front, and that was the key. And he robs Khalil Green. Cut, but down a strike.
Real good swing there.
Little tapper hit toward Barton at third. And he throws on the run. 1 out.
Hey, time for the answer to the Toyota Tacoma trivia question. Where did Ernie Johnson make his major league debut 59 years ago today? I said Sportsman's Park, but I'm going to change to Forbes Field.
Okay, I'll say Jerry Park. I know it wasn't there, but Ernie really liked Montreal in the day, and maybe he was scouting out the site.
Oh, Shibe Park. You said that during the break.
Doesn't count then, does it?
You would have been right all over it. 1 inning, no runs.
Way to go, Ernie.
Outstanding. Only had the state right.
You get partial credit, though. Hal, as we all know, grades on a curve.
Okay.
One pitch coming up to Matt Diaz, who took a call third strike. And that's launched foul.
Loesch has a complete game shutout already this year, and it came against Houston. His second start of the year, a 3-hit shutout, no walks, 4 strikeouts. That was April 12th. His first 2 starts were brilliant. 7 innings against Pittsburgh, only 2 earned runs. His last 2, he's only gone 5 innings each, but as you pointed out, the last one shortened by the knee that was bothering him.
Matty appeared to have his mind made up to swing on a ball out of the strike zone, and he's whiffed for the second time, and Loesch has his second strikeout of Matt Diaz tonight. 4 in total in the game. Here's Schaefer. Jordan walked his first time up.
So Chipper Jones has got some company. He and Tim Smith, our high home cameraman. Big Gator fan here, Jordan Schaefer. Florida Gators.
Is Tim Tebow going to be the #1 pick in the NFL draft next year as the kid from Oklahoma?
I'll wager some money on whether or not Sam Bradford goes faster than Tim Tebow. The answer to that is yes.
Well, how much you talking about? A little bit of that
Whatever
action.
you want. You just bite off whatever you want on that.
Tipped off Molina. 1 ball, 2 strikes. How about a Home Depot apron?
Yeah. Okay.
That's about as deep as my pockets go these days. Didn't miss by much. You know, these Cardinals starters, Joe, they don't have a guy that in their rotation throws 94. All their guys are 89 to 91, but with pinpoint control and down in the strike zone.
Dave Duncan is widely regarded as one of the preeminent pitching coaches in baseball, and he wasn't a pitcher, he was a catcher. And I think there's something to that, you know, as far as recognizing mechanics and helping guys correct flaws. I think that's a good trait for him, the fact that he was a big league catcher for many years.
That's golfed into right and played safely by Ludwig. Schaefer on for the second time in this game with 2 outs. We'll bring up David Ross.
Keep an eye on Jordan, see if he's running. 2 outs, try to get into scoring position. He has not attempted a stolen base yet, but had a real good spring. I've forgotten exactly how many. I want to say 5 for 5 in stolen bases this spring. Catcher behind the plate, but when you're having trouble scoring runs even with 2 out, why not take a chance?
Force the action. You gotta make something happen. If you're not hitting home runs, you're not bunching together big innings, what do you have to lose? Pretty good lead, and Schaefer draws the throw.
Think about guys like Ricky Henderson might be an extreme, but other guys who stole a lot of bases. And what a buzz it sends to the crowd when that guy gets on base.
How about Jacoby Ellsbury the other night? Stole home.
Yeah.
Now that's certainly an extreme. But in this day and age where home runs are seemingly in many cases declining for whatever reason you want to throw out there, I think the game is going to revert, as it always does, in pendulum fashion, back to hit and runs and straight steals and run and hits, forcing the action.
Hey, offensive, the Braves were 17 for 18. Galima just looked it up. 17 for 18 in steals in spring training, and Schaefer was 5 for 5.
But 3 for 5 as a team so far in the regular season, and this is the Braves' 20th game.
Jordan has an explosive first step too. Good crossover step.
And to put it in perspective, Albert Pujols, the Cardinal first baseman whom you see right there, has as many steals by himself as this Braves team. And he is by no means a speed burner.
Nope.
If Jordan runs now, at the very least, if Ross doesn't strike out, if he's thrown out, David leads off the next inning. Let's see what the Braves have in mind. Down a run and an 0-2 count. Not moving. And a low foul.
Okay, here's a devil's advocate type of approach. Jordan steals, he's safe.
Yep.
They're 0-2 on Ross. It's not like they're going to pitch around him 0-2.
Right.
The first base open to get to the pitcher. They're going to still continue to work on him, and they might make a mistake and get a base hit. But even if they did walk him to get to Reyes, at the very worst, you've cleared the pitcher to start the next inning.
So if you're balancing things, it would seem to indicate the balance is the Braves' side to be more aggressive, as Ross is on everything being thrown by Loesch right now.
Whew. How did he get the barrel to that? Molina, look how far Molina set up inside. The pitch was fired in there, but it was down. If that's about waist high, no way he can get the barrel to the bat, to the ball. And down and in he did, and he hit it hard. Tell you who Russ reminds me of when he's standing there, stance and swing, is Jeff Kent.
Yeah, that's a good call.
What's better than a hot dog and a beer at the ballpark?
Two beers and a hot dog.
Yeah, right.
Brendan Ryan leads it off. He struck out his first time. You know, it's ballpark hot dogs, they taste different, don't they?
They do.
You get the same hot dog at home and you cook it on the grill. It just doesn't taste the same.
I agree. Mustard just a little Got a little more zing to it at the ballpark.
Yeah.
Whether you put relish or.
Now, are you a ketchup, mustard, relish, or I mean, what's your?
I'm a relish and mustard guy. Once in a while, I mean, if I'm at home, I'll put a little onion on there, but ballpark, just relish and mustard.
Yeah. Now, are you a steamed or like the Dodger dogs in the newfangled tradition, or the grilled and then steamed tradition?
I think steamed.
Really?
Yeah.
Not a grilled guy?
Not especially. No. Just put them in an aluminum wrapper, and I'm good.
That's the Diamond family. Our fine producer, Glenn Diamond's family at the game. His dad, his brother, and stepmom. Glenn couldn't have paid for better seats, huh?
They're in the upper deck again.
Now, see, there you go.
There's a good call right there. That's a good dog. Yeah, the Diamonds.
Those are not the Diamond Suites as we know and love them here at the ballpark.
Obviously, Mr. Diamond had to pay for those.
Yes. Yes. Now, in Chicago, they have the Chicago dogs. But they don't really have Chicago dogs in the ballpark. You know,
really?
The secret to a Chicago dog is the celery salt. You never see that at the ballpark.
Huh.
Wrigley Field.
Are you a kraut guy?
Yeah. You know, on the bratwurst, it's better. Plain hot dog and all that stuff, that's a little too much. Slosh is down on strikes. 9 in a row retired by JoJo, by the way. Only that hit batsman in the first inning, his blemish in this game.
And after striking out, registering outs by strikeout his first 5. That's the first one since he struck out Ryan in the second.
So back to the top we go. Brian Barton bats. He struck out and bounced into a force play. That was back in the second inning tonight.
This is not unlike the way he pitched in Pittsburgh when he gave up 1 run through 5 innings. In fact, I think he's pitched better tonight.
Well, he's through his second time through the order with nothing happening. Now he starts his journey through the third.
Well, he struck out more guys, gave up a couple of extra base hits in Pittsburgh. He hasn't done that tonight.
And another slow roller to Omar Infante. 3 up, 3 down, 10 straight, retired by JoJo Reyes. But the Braves have got to give him some support.
Game of your choice. That's Braves.com/birthday for your free ticket. And remember, the free ticket does not need to be used on your actual birthday. Good deal.
JoJo Reyes starts things off in the Atlanta fifth. Loesch has matched him strikeout for strikeout for the most part tonight. JoJo's got 6. Loesch has 5. And the Cardinals lead on only 2 hits tonight.
And JoJo's trying to tie this thing up with 1 hack.
Pretty good rip. Diving play. Ryan does it again. That little guy is something, folks. We told you last night the Cardinals manager Tony La Russa said this is an aggressive defensive team. There's another example of it.
Nice pick by Pujols on the other end too. JoJo robbed of a hit to get the inning started. Brendan Ryan at shortstop last night turned in a couple of brilliant plays. I was talking to Al Hrabosky, TV commentator for the Cardinals, before the game, and he said, you know, that's about as good a game as we've seen Ryan play.
Whew. I mean, you start comparing plays that a guy makes, whether he's a Cardinal or a Brave or anybody else, to Ozzie Smith, and that pop-up slide, scoop and throw that he made on Ross, I thought was Ozzie Smith-like.
Well, if Khalil Green was watching last night, and I know he was because he wasn't in the lineup, it should have been enough to inspire him to start playing a little better defensively, because Brendan Ryan is doing it.
And nobody was more fired up about it than his starter tonight, Loesch, and last night's starter, Joel Pinheiro.
Here to start a double play on an in-between hop, and watch this. This is the play that Chip's talking about. Slide and then up the middle to turn a double play all by himself.
He's one of those players too that kind of Eckstein-like in that he seems to be in the right place all the time. Better arm than Eckstein, of course.
Loves to play.
Yeah.
And the Mad Hungarian was telling me he's a little bit just right of center. Brendan Ryan, he's a lot of fun in the clubhouse. Guys love him.
Fly ball into right center field. Colby Erasmus glides over. 2 out. Do all the Cardinal outfielders who play center field look like Jim Edmonds when they catch the ball? Man. Sort of effortlessly.
Well, Rasmus can run. I was watching him go down the line a minute ago on the ground out.
Here's Escobar. Key play in this game was his base running gaff at third base. Ran through a stop sign. On a ground ball off the bat of Casey Kochman. The sign was up to stop. He just ran right through it, and the Cardinals threw it behind him and gunned him out, completing a very odd double play in the third inning.
Yeah, he was assuming it was going to be a 3-6-3 double play, so he just kept running, except that Khalil Green didn't throw the ball to first. He threw it home, back to third. He's looking at first, trying to find the baseball, and despite the stop sign by Brian Snitker, it didn't work.
Popped up shallow right. Out goes Ryan. Ludwig is not there, and Ryan with a basket catch makes the play.
Unbelievable.
Well, Brendan Ryan might be our colleague John Shabby's favorite player. You know why?
Why?
His nickname is Boog. Terrific catch. Ends the Atlanta fifth.
and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
We're in the 6th inning already, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. Colby Rasmus rifles a shot foul off the arm of JoJo Reyes. Cardinals have been retired 10 men in a row tonight. Rasmus, the only man who has touched the plate tonight. He was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning and scored on a bouncing ball by Molina. The chipper couldn't corral. Rasmus retired. 11 up, 11 down.
Rasmus last year was close to making the club out of spring training. In fact, right at the end of spring training, I was asking Hal McRae about him, and he said, you know, we've got some choices to make, and he said if I had my way, Rasmus would be on the club. He would be the guy I would take. He was not the guy they took, and Rasmus got hurt in AAA and didn't get enough playing time to really have a terrific year. But he's here now, and he looks like a solid player. Again, their top prospect.
He was picked 28th in the draft in 2005. The Braves picked 27th that year. You know who they took for that 27th pick? Joey Devine out of North Carolina State.
I hope Joey's doing all right. I know he had to have reconstructive surgery recently in Birmingham, so we wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, he was going to be the A's closer this year. As Pujols lifts one in the air to right, Jeff Francoeur gets there.
Pitching him tough last night and tonight. A rare 1 for 5 with 2 strikeouts last night. 0 for 2 tonight. He came into this game, believe it or not, and they haven't played that many road games, just 7. But he came into this game hitting only .214 on the road. And it's even worse now. He's 6 for 30. And even 200. Thanks, Hal.
Ludwig to right again. Francoeur on the run. Boy, JoJo Reyes cannot do any better than he's doing tonight. 82 pitches. He's retired 13 in a row.
Peachtree Friday night at 7:30 against the Astros. Big Fox will have the game Saturday afternoon against Houston. Fox Sports South on Sunday. Hope you make your plans to be with us all through the weekend against the Astros. And then the Mets come to town Monday and Tuesday of next week.
And as always, Friday night, it's Friday Night Fireworks at the ballpark. That's always a very popular promotion. Our friends at Publix sponsor that. And Bark in the Park is coming up. Is that on the 3rd or the 2nd?
I think it was the 3rd.
I think it is the 3rd. That's the Sunday game against Houston.
Yes.
Then the Mets are in town. We'll get our first look at Jerry Manuel's club. And let's hope we miss Johan Santana.
No, they're not going to miss Roy Oswalt. He pitched last night, so he'll probably pitch this weekend. That would be nice to miss Santana.
Dangerous count for Chipper, 3-1. And again, they're not going to let him beat him. They put him on for the third time tonight. Fourth walk.
That matches the season total he had coming into this game.
Well, so much of pitching is not just having stuff, it's having mound presence. But I think, Joe, it's also being able to execute the game plan. And it's clear the game plan for the Cardinals is make someone other than Chipper Jones do the damage. And Loesch has given him nothing to hit.
And you can understand that. Molina hurt himself there.
Maybe a cross up.
Could have been. Oh yeah. Yeah, he was looking for a breaking ball and got handcuffed.
That's a Gold Glove caliber play.
That's some quick hands. You're right.
Right there to even the count.
It's hard to hit into a double play when you're not one of the outs. That was what happened to Kochman.
Yeah.
Last time up.
There was a 3-6, 6-2-5 double play. See those all the time, right? In the air down the left field line, but slicing foul. 2.
Casey's a maple bat guy. Talking to him about his bats when we were in Cincinnati, and he said he just hasn't found the ash bat that he likes and prefers the maple. And hoping all the studies done by Major League Baseball has helped improve them enough. There won't be quite as much breakage for him.
Tipped and caught. Casey asks, was it a strike? And not sure that the answer was yes. One away in the 6th. There is that 6th Loesch strikeout tonight.
He's had some serious down action on it. And a change of pace, too. A little off speed on that. Tough guy to fan.
Come on, Frenchie.
And Loesch got him.
Double play ball to short. Third of the night turned by the Cardinals. Francoeur gets the Cardinals 2 for 1, and we head to the 7th inning down 1-0. Been the star of the night for Atlanta, although on the short end of the game. 1 run on 2 hits. That was his 83rd pitch of the night. And Yadier Molina smacks it to right for a leadoff single.
Since a 27 pitch first inning, he's averaged 11 pitches per inning. Outstanding.
Cardinals have 3 hits. Molina has 2 of them. That snaps a run of 13 in a row retired. And now this is a real danger spot in that Reyes goes back to the stretch for the very first time since the 2nd inning of this game. And Duncan is the batter. He's pounded the strike zone, hasn't he?
He definitely has. He's trusted his fastball and changed tonight. Dropped in a few first pitch breaking balls.
That fooled Duncan. 0-2.
Yeah, guessed wrong. Got a fastball right down the middle. Only action in either bullpen is in the Cardinal bullpen. Jason Mott is loosening up. Perhaps in case Loesch's spot in the order comes up.
Brian McCann, we told you tonight, rehabbing over at Myrtle Beach with the Pelicans. And at this point in the game, Brian 0 for 2 as the DH with Myrtle Beach. Strike 3 outside corner.
Fastballs.
Cardinals are seeing a different JoJo Reyes than I think they thought they would tonight.
Most strikeouts for him since he struck out 8 on June 7th of 2008. He followed that start up with a brilliant game against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and that was his last win on June 13th.
9 strikeouts against Milwaukee May 28th last year is his career high.
So he had a good stretch there between May 28th and June 13th. He had it working pretty good.
Changeup. 1 ball, no strikes. Jose Oquendo, the Cardinal third base coach, flashing the signs to Khalil Green, who's 0 for 2. Wonder when Oquendo will get a managing job at the big league level.
Soon, I would guess. He's got to be one of those next tier of never managed before guys that's going to get a lot of interviews.
Managed in the WBC this offseason. A terrific defensive infield coach. He's the guy that after the WBC was charged with turning Skip Schumacher from an outfielder to a second baseman, along with Joe Patini, the Cardinals coach. I'll tell you, some of the guys that are first-time managers are having a pretty good run of it this year. Glenn Diamond's favorite American League manager, Don Wakamatsu, off to a very good start with Seattle.
Ooh, that was a good pitch. First 3-ball count in a while. Just off the plate a little bit.
Three balls and a strike. Chop toward the hole. Escobar, good play to his right for long. Oh, turn.
Hey, Omar.
Wow, that was like a highlight cesta toss, wasn't it? Watch this action on the throw. Yo, get down, Yadier. lot of great history in the Braves Museum behind the left field seats here at Turner Field, the Fan Plaza. And of course the glorious year 1995, the World Championship season for the Braves, who will now take aim at another one of these Cardinal flamethrowers in their bullpen. Young Jason Mott appears for the first time in the series.
And he's a converted catcher, and he can bring it. Throws hard. Mid-90s at times. Kind of has a catcher's mentality out there as well. He dares you to hit the ball.
First pitch swinging, Diaz to short. Cardinals with a whole host of defensive changes. We will tell you about those in a moment, as Matt Diaz is 0 for 3 in the game. Rick Ankiel is checked in for Rasmus. He'll play center. Rasmus has moved from center to left. That gets Duncan out of the game and gets 3 very good outfielders in this Cardinal game defensively in the 7th inning.
I'm guessing Ankiel will bat in the 9th spot too.
I believe that's what they said. So Rasmus, Ankiel, and Ludwig from left to right in the Cardinal outfield now. Here's Schaefer. He's walked, he's singled, and he's down a strike.
96 on that fastball. It's pretty straight. Kind of throws it like a catcher right from his right ear. And it's a work in progress to help him figure out something off speed to get the hitters off his fastball, because it is straight.
Mott suffered the loss and blown save on April the 6th against the Pirates. First Cardinal rookie to lose on opening day since Dennis Oust in 1966. Led minor league baseball with great strikeout ratio in AAA. There's a bolt to right center field. Schaefer with a big turn can advance no further. Tying run on in the 7th.
Turned around a 96 fastball. They're also on their opening day, Chip. Khalil Green hit cleanup. He was the first opening day shortstop to hit cleanup for the Cardinals since Rogers Hornsby in 1918 and 1919.
Wow. The Raja, Rogers Hornsby. One of the game's great players. Here's Ross as Mott keeps Schaefer close. Again, Jordan has thrown out an anchor at first base 3 times tonight.
I think David Ross can pretty much sit on fastball with this guy, especially with a runner at first, in case they think the Braves might be running. Just a matter of trying to get tuned into that 95 stuff.
A little late, down a strike. Here's where the value of a guy like Molina becomes apparent in a game like this. Braves have 5 hits tonight. They've received 4 walks. Yes, they've hit into 3 double plays, but they haven't even tried to run once in this series, because Molina's thrown out 43% of his would-be base stealers the last couple of years. Just the threat of him throwing can change the game.
Thrown out 4 of 8 this year. Nothing but fastballs so far from Mott.
Almost fell down as he made that pickoff play over at first base. Remember, if Schaefer's getting a good secondary lead over there, better keep an eye on Molina, because he is not afraid to whip a pickoff throw down to Pujols at first. We saw that and showed that to you tonight.
He was very effective in that he was hiding behind Chipper last night when he gunned out Escobar. He doesn't have that camouflage, if you will, tonight with a right-handed hitter up there.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Got around on that one a little bit better.
As a hitter, does 96 bother you?
Not when it's straight, because I mean, sure it does. It's
well, I understand,
it's
but
hard, but Not when it's straight. It's that movement that drives you crazy. If it's straight, you'll catch up to it if you get enough time.
And so for a guy like Mott who can throw 96 as a hitter, how much less velocity do you as a hitter need to see to have a problem with a guy like this?
87, 88. So it's not that great. Drastic. 9? Yeah, not that drastic a difference.
And there it was, a slider.
79. And it's interesting that Molina, you were just talking about him and bragging on what a difference he can make, Chip, and he'd just gone out to talk to Mott. And the next pitch is that slider. And may have said to him, you know, hey, don't be afraid to throw it in the dirt. We're ahead in the count. He was already going to one knee just in case. And lo and behold, he throws it for a strike.
So Greg Norton, the final hope in the 7th for Atlanta. And a huge tip of the cap for JoJo Reyes tonight. We mentioned this is a results-driven business. The results tonight for Reyes were just spectacular. 1 run, 3 hits. It's 7 innings of work, 7 strikeouts. He hit a batter, and that's the only man that scored.
1 walk, 1 hit batsman. They were back-to-back in the first inning.
JoJo, you keep pitching like that, and you won't have to worry about any footsteps.
No. Set down 15 of the last 16 he faced.
In the air, well struck. Tailing away from Ankiel. Long run, diving catch. Are we seeing the ghost of Jim Edmonds again tonight? Norton robbed. Atlanta turned aside in the 7th in a 1-run game. Unbelievable.
Time for tonight's know-how question from Home Depot, and it comes from Chris Carmody of Alpharetta, who wants to know what's the difference between a wild pitch and a pass ball. Chris, 99 times out of 100, anytime a pitcher bounces one up there that gets past the catcher and a runner advances, it's going to be a wild pitch. If it's a ball that doesn't hit in the dirt, hits off the catcher's glove, and it's deemed to be a pitch that he didn't have to jump for or dive for, that the official scorer thinks he should have just caught in the air, then it's going to be a pass ball. But more often than not, if it bounced in the dirt first, it's going to be a wild pitch.
But none of those tonight for Ross or for Yadier Molina. And an encouraging sign for Atlanta in that Peter Moylan's in for the 11th time this season. More importantly, not the number of times, but the frequency of times for Pete.
Yeah, back-to-back nights. Gave up a run last night. In fact, he filled up a lot of columns. A hit, a walk, a strikeout, and a run.
Kyle McClellan is in the Cardinal pen as Moylan faces Brendan Ryan, who's been everywhere again defensively in this game. Wicked slider. Wow, 1-2. There's another one. 1 out.
And Keel is hitting in this spot. Good start for Peter. Threw it at the middle of the plate and it break to the outside corner. You know, when you come in the game late, you've been sitting all night, you're supposed to be kind of stiff. I don't think Ankiel showed any signs of stiffness when he raced over to take that extra base hit away from Norton. The way he kind of almost cupped the baseball in his glove, he wasn't sure he had it, but right here, making sure it didn't bounce out of the glove, a smart thing to do.
And again, the Cardinals aggressive defensively. If Ankiel doesn't get that, Schaefer scores the tying run. High risk, high reward play. Ankiel made it. Now bats for the first time, down a ball and 2 strikes. In the other baseball, Phillies now 6-1 after 7 over the Nationals. Adam Dunn has accounted for the only Washington run with a solo home run. Astros 6-1 over the Reds. That's in the 7th inning. Mets lead over the Marlins cut in half now 4-2. Jorge Cantu has homered. Bobby Parnell now on for the Mets in relief. Pirates 2-1 over Milwaukee at Miller Park in the top of the 3rd. Rockies Padres no score in the 1st. Cubs and Diamondbacks, Dodgers Giants later on in National League play.
No matter what the Marlins are doing, it seems like Cantu hits a home run about every other night.
And they're playing without Hanley Ramirez tonight with that sore wrist. Cantu coming off a sore wrist as well, or sore hand. But Florida trying to avoid an 8th consecutive loss. 2-2 to Ankiel. Little dribbler off the plate. Fonte, easy play. 2 outs. Top of the order's due for Atlanta in the 8th inning. Let's see if Moylan can take care of the Cardinals leadoff man. That's Brian Barton. Doubleheader in Chicago tonight. White Sox beat Seattle 2-1 in game 1. John Danks and Felix Hernandez are hooking up in game 2. Both of those starters undefeated so far this year. And Seattle leads 4-0. King Felix has allowed just 1 hit to the White Sox. Twins 2-0 over Tampa Bay in the 4th. Justin Morneau has gone deep. Blue Jays 1-0 over the Royals in the 3rd. A's and Rangers tied 1-1. And back to the mound for Moylan. Great inning. No trouble on the back-to-back tonight, huh? You're right. He looked terrific. 3 up, 3 down. Braves down 1 heading to the bottom of the 8th. It's late at Turner Field, and the Braves offense has yet to awaken against the Cardinals. Kyle Loesch, Jason Mott, and now it's Kyle McClellan, who had a marvelous rookie year last year for the Redbirds. He will face Infante, Escobar, and Chipper Jones here tonight.
He had an adventurous 8th inning last night. Gave up a leadoff single, and then later 2 walks, and with 2 outs and the bases loaded, he was able to get Kochman to fly out.
He's behind Infante to start tonight before a crowd of 18,121. 18121. The crowd tonight. Almost 35,000 fans the first 2 games, and now it's 3-0.
And again, Molina to the mound to try to get his pitcher on track and remind him that it's a 1-0 ball game.
Cardinals have walked 4 Braves hitters tonight. They've walked Chipper 3 times. Part of that game plan, though, for the Redbirds is to not have many on in front of him. That's only happened once, however, tonight. 3-1.
Infante's had a good night, a single and 3 trips, but 2 brilliant plays defensively. One saving a hit into right field and another on that turn of the double play.
There's a good start, tying run on. Leadoff walks give managers indigestion.
Well, especially managers who have won as many games as Tony La Russa, 3rd on the all-time list. He's seen this happen before, and as we pointed out last night, the Cardinals blew more leads from the 7th inning on than any team in baseball last year.
Dennis Reyes, a left-hander, up and loosening for the Cardinals as Escobar is up. You know, Yunel would love to turn this thing around. He tries to sacrifice, but it's foul for a strike.
Got to do the little things in a close ball game. And one of those little things right here is if Bobby Cox is asking him to sacrifice to get it down. Sure what McClellan was waiting on there. His defense was creeping in, and everybody was in a position to try to defend the bunt.
He ducks under a breaking ball.
As I heard a guy say one time many years ago, he's going to have to throw it at some point. It's in the rules.
Yes. Or if he has to throw it whether he wants to or not.
And again, if you're the base runner and the bunt is indeed on, you don't want to take a huge lead and draw attention to yourself.
There's the bunt. Molina has one play. There's one of those little things you were talking about. And now the Cardinals a decision to make. Do you walk Chipper and bring on Reyes for Kochman?
They walked him last night. It wasn't putting up 4 fingers and putting him on, but they pitched around him. They might as well have done it that way.
Now Molina wants to talk it over with the native St. Louisan, Kyle McClellan. Again, Chipper had one of the more intriguing quotes, and Tony La Russa was very appreciative of it, and he thought Chipper's comments about Pujols were very accurate, in that Pujols will go out of the strike zone and swing at a ball that is a ball with the scoreboard in mind and try to beat you. Would Chipper dare expand his strike zone in this situation with 1 out to try to do the same?
Absolutely. I believe he would, knowing the hard time the Braves are having scoring runs. take it upon himself to try to get it done. But that's what they did last night, was with McClellan, was pitching in. And weren't even close with a strike. You saw that chart Dave Duncan had in front of him, and that's something they update after every game as to where that hitter, in this case Chipper, hit the ball each night.
He hasn't had a chance to tonight.
No, and I don't expect him to here, but you never know. A guy might make a mistake trying to pitch around him, and Chipper's still got to be ready for that mistake.
Yeah, and that's the danger of not going ahead and intentionally walking the man. And 4 straight out of the zone.
Well, if we weren't sure last night, I think we're sure tonight. And having not been in their pre-series meeting, that the Cardinals have said, we will not let Chipper beat us.
4 walks for Chipper Jones tonight.
Ties his career high. Last time accomplished last July against Houston.
McClellan just missed inside to Kochman.
They didn't go get the lefty. Reyes was ready. Last night McClellan got Kochman on a flyout, jammed him with a fastball.
Bobby flips the cap. 1-1.
Could have been low. Kochman thought it was low. Braves are 1 for 11 and hitting with runners in scoring position in this series. 0 for 3 tonight.
He went around. Kochman down on strikes, 2 down.
Did he go? Yeah. He did, unfortunately.
Well, Jeff Francoeur this year has 9 2-out runs batted in. And with runners in scoring position, 2 out, hitting an incredible .636. If ever the Braves needed a hit from Jeff, here's your spot in the 8th. Jeff has yet to get the ball out of the infield in game 2 of this series.
Good arms in the outfield. All 3 guys for the Cardinals right now, with Rasmus, Ankiel, and Ludwig. Infante needs a good lead at second. That was just a get him back off the plate pitch. I think Jeff can look middle of the plate away here, which is the way they started him.
3. Diaz waits next. Reyes ready in the Cardinal pen. McClellan has to throw a hitter's pitch. They're loaded. 3 walks in this 8th inning. Only one of them seemingly intentional, and Dave Duncan to chat. It's not easy to get 7 walks and not score in a game.
Braves have been finding ways not to score, Chip, no matter how many base runners lately. And they, as Bobby said last night, they just couldn't get the hit at the right time, including Kochman with the bases loaded. He had 3 hits last night, but they were able to get him on that occasion. Matt Diaz tonight has not had a good night. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. He's been anxious. out on his front foot, leaning forward a little bit too much. Maybe he can stay back on this guy who's throwing in the low 90s. He's due.
He's never faced Kyle McClellan. He was the 762nd player selected in the 2002 draft. Cardinals have a lot of those guys on their team. Here's Diaz, bases full of Braves in a one-run game.
I don't consider Matt a real dead pull hitter, but it seems like that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to turn on the ball, and sometimes on pitches that aren't set up for that. And that's something else, is making McClellan throw you a good pitch. 3 walks in the inning, including one just now to Francoeur. He's not exactly pinpoint so far with his location.
Chop toward third. That's foul ball. But Barton, as you'd expect, guarding the line late. And now it's a 1-2 count. Boy, is Cardinal right-hander flirting with disaster in this series. Hasn't allowed a run, but he's walked 5 men in an inning and 2/3. And the Braves make him pay here in the 8th.
Wow. Wow. Diaz might have actually screened Chris Guccione a little bit. Watch him step into this pitch. Well, Chris had a good look at it, but it curved around the plate. And it was inside.
2-2.
High curve ball. He really got away with one there. Not only fortunate that it wasn't hit hard somewhere, but also fortunate that Matt swung at it, or it'd be 3-2.
Hit him. How in the world did that not happen?
How did it miss him? That's 3 straight curveballs. One that curved around the plate and missed being a strike. One that was hit a long way foul. And too bad Matt wasn't able to get in the way of that one to tie the game.
How did that not hit the bat? How did that not hit Diaz? And how did Molina catch it? So now the carousel begins. 3-2, 2 outs, 1-run Cardinal game.
Got to sit on fastball.
Little roller up the middle. Green can't get it. The Braves have the lead 2-1.
Four straight breaking balls, Chip. Even 3-2 with a tying run at third. He threw him a slider. And it wasn't even a strike. Would have been ball 4, but Matt Diaz never met a pitch he didn't like. Off the end of the bat, Khalil Green got a real late start on it. And the Braves take the lead.
So to answer our rhetorical question, will the Braves make McClellan pay for being awfully wild? Matt Diaz does with a 2-out single that scores Infante and Chipper Jones. And the Braves are off the deck with a 1-run lead as the Cardinals make a call to the bullpen. Brought to you by AT&T.
Francoeur goes first to third. So well placed by Diaz, and in a spot where something happened to Khalil Green where he just didn't see it.
So now Dennis Reyes, a longtime big league veteran, is on to face Jordan Schaefer. The Braves are off the deck with a 2-1 lead. And in the ninth inning, 2, 3, and 4 due for St. Louis. So a little insurance would be very, very nice indeed with 2 outs. And a little low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes.
This goes back to the Cardinals, and it'll be other teams like St. Louis who say to Chipper Jones, you're not going to beat us. Somebody else is going to have to. And tonight, Matt Diaz steps up with a big hit.
And again, it's hard to not score when you're walked 7 times. Braves scored twice. As a result of those walks.
4 straight breaking balls, though. That was a bit of a surprise.
And 2 of them were so bad. I mean, there was no way that they were quality pitches. That was odd, too. 1 ball, 1 strike. Braves' ability to score with 2 outs has continued tonight. Can it continue in this 8th inning? 2 already are in.
Good time here for Jordan Schaefer to guess a little bit. 1 and 2. Got an off-speed pitch called a strike. I'd be surprised if they even think fastball unless it's well off the plate.
Slider got him. Inning is over. Reyes puts out the fire, but the Braves get 3 walks in the 8th inning. And Matt Diaz, an 88 hopper up the middle. It turns to gold for Atlanta, and it's last chance time for St. Louis as we go to the 9th.
Play. It was a beaut. Deep in the hole to Escobar. Low throw, but Infante turns it from where he caught it. Beautifully done. 6-4-3 gets JoJo Reyes out of a jam in the 7th. Wonderful. The sensation salad is back at Zaxby's. A flavor so unique it demanded an encore.
And let's see if a 0 is in the offing for Gonzalez in this 9th inning. He'll try to save it for Peter Moylan, who is the pitcher of record for Atlanta. But the starter, JoJo Reyes, just brilliant.
If there's any justice, it's that JoJo is taken off the hook here. He may not get the win, but won't get the loss.
Rasmus maybe the key man in this game. You get him, then at the very worst case scenario, if Pujols goes deep, you're still tied.
And it's a good point. And Rasmus has never faced Mike Gonzalez before, so advantage Mike.
It was quickly ahead of him, 0-2.
Gonzalez, last outing 4 days ago at Cincinnati, got the save, and he was as good that night as he's been all year long.
Remember all the concern this spring about his velocity, upper 80s, touch 90 or so. That one at 95.
He was throwing hard at Cincy. Worked a perfect inning, struck out 2. Good slider. Big out.
Pujols 1 for 6 against Gonzalez in his career, and tonight 0 for 2 with a walk.
Big King Albert hit with nobody on.
David Ross. I would imagine telling Gonzalez how they pitched Pujols in this game. A little bit different scenario for a closer facing him one time as opposed to JoJo Reyes 3.
That's a good point. And the sequence and the way they were altering their sequences against Pujols. Mike doesn't have that advantage.
One thing I've noticed about Mike, he's not towing the extreme third base side of the rubber.
He's in the middle of the rubber.
And so what does that do?
I think it's helped his control. I think he was working from such an extreme angle on that third base side, the way he falls off the mound, that it was really pulling him way inside to right-handers, away from left-handers, and causing some problems.
And all that rocking he does, the hitter never knows when he's going to begin his motion. That's a distracting thing, I would think. 2-0.
Pujols 1 for 6 in his career against Mike. Oh boy, that was a good pitch. That may have fooled Guccione a little bit. Threw him a 2-0 slider and looked like a good pitch. Nothing wrong with that, folks. Came across the plate right about his knees. I like this 95 I'm seeing.
Yeah. Woo.
He's moved to the third base side of the mound.
Outside corner. Albert's not arguing, he's just confirming.
He just kind of cross-fired this fastball from the extreme third base side of the rubber. He altered where he was, and perhaps to Pujols that pitch looked outside because of the angle of the delivery.
He's over there again now with a 3-2 count.
Slider. No argument. Woo. Albert Pujols is 1 for 8 against the Braves in this series. 1 for 7 in his career now against Gonzalez. And a backdoor breaking ball locked him up.
And I think this is an even bigger challenge for him. Now you've gone through the emotional hurdle of getting out Pujols. Ludwig has been a ferocious hitter too.
Back to the third base side of the mound. Wow. Breaking balls at 85.
What was it, 8, 9, 10 miles an hour you said was enough?
Yeah. Oh, Chris Guccione, you flinched. Yowie. He flinched. Watch the umpire. Raised up. I thought he was gonna ring him up.
Now it's 2-2.
Overthrew that one a little bit.
Tell you what, Ross has done a heck of a job framing the ball in this game. Not just this inning, but all game long.
Mike just took a look over to see who was on deck. He doesn't need to do that. He just needs to work on Ludwig. He's had the count in his favor. Finish him off.
Ball game. What a win.
Awesome.
Mike Gonzalez strikes out the side in the 9th inning, and the Braves in the 8th come back with 2. And the difference in this ball game was the bases on balls. The Braves issued 1 walk tonight.